Hey, y'all. Welcome to the CPA Exam series of the WERKin Mommas podcast. I'm Nikki. Thank you for tapping in and supporting this podcast and all of my CPA exam content. The WERKin Mommas podcast was originally all about my frolics and frustrations of being a mama to two growing kids. But like most moms out here, there's other hats that I wear. I'm a CPA, I work in corporate America, I run my own businesses. And so I wanted to have conversations about the CPA exam for candidates, talk about business and tax tips for entrepreneurs, share career advice from my perspective as a Black girl working in an industry where I'm part of the 1% and not in a good way. And of course, getting real about money and credit and unlearning some of the things that we as Black kids saw and adopted as the truth. So, my podcast is a labor of love for me. I enjoy sharing CPA exam tips and tricks and all that I went through with the exam in hopes that my experiences will inspire you to keep going, no matter how hard or how impossible this journey seems right now. I'm here to tell you it is so worth all of the stress and frustration that you may be feeling. There's lots more CPA exam coaching, practice exams, simulations, tutorials online at winstoncpagroup.com/CPA exam. There's a virtual classroom where you can access all of my content, my notes, my tutorials, these premium podcast episodes, and more in the virtual classroom. Check it out online. I also post CPA exam tips on LinkedIn, so make sure we're connected over there. And as you listen to this episode, if something resonates with you or is super helpful to you, let your networks know that you're tuned in to this exclusive CPA exam series of the WERKin Mommas podcast. Feel free to share on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook and tag me at Nick Winston CPA. So let's jump into this episode. My struggles with the CPA exam manifested into the only Black owned and woman owned CPA exam review course designed to prepare candidates for both the CPA exam and their accounting careers once they receive their license. Do you love this content? We'll help create more of it. Support this podcast and the CPA exam virtual classroom at buymeacoffee.com/Nick Winston CPA. When you go to the site, click on the support button, and from there, you can buy as many cups of coffee or tea as you like. And feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you like most about the WERKin Mommas podcast. Head over to buymeacoffee.com/Nick Winston CPA and help create more of the content you love. Hey, y'all. So I want to go in depth on cost accounting and really talk through a lot of the concepts in here because it's a huge component of the BEC section of the CPA exam, but it can also be very confusing. You have the actual cost, the estimated cost, the allocated cost, the under applied, over applied, the cost pools, the cost drivers, the variances. There's just so many different things to know and to understand. There's a lot of math, a lot of numbers involved, and that can be a huge struggle, especially for those just starting out in their career. Most accountants tend to lean towards going into the big four, the public accounting firms, or some type of service-based firm. So it can be a little bit more difficult to digest this particular piece of BEC just because when you're dealing with a service-based organization and that's what you do every day for work, then you don't think about the widgets being made and the ending working process that might only be 75% complete when it comes to conversion costs and direct materials and cost of goods manufactured. So that's not really something that, aside from studying it in undergrad, you probably won't see it a lot if you're in a service-based type of job. So these topics that I'm going to discuss with cost accounting, I really want to get granular into these just so even if you have to know these just for purposes of passing the exam, it's really something that's worth digging into because there are some variances between the financial statements that are published for lenders and investors and third party users versus the internal management cost reports and internal financial statements that managers use that might not even be GAAP compliant, but these financial statements tell them different things about the organization in terms of how much is being spent, where they can identify some opportunities to save. And it's these discussions that add value to those companies in the manufacturing space because they have a better sense of what's really happening in their production, where their money is being spent, how is it best being utilized, and how they can shuffle things around and make a business, make a particular location, or anything more profitable. So there's a lot to cost accounting, and I used to didn't like it. I used to say, this is just so much to know. And I'm not even thinking about going into manufacturing, but once you really get to the core of it and you understand what it's doing for an organization and how useful it can be in terms of financial statement analysis and making decisions in both the short and the long term, it's really valuable to know. So even as someone who might be a CPA and you service manufacturing clients, you have a new level of expertise and a different way of looking at the numbers to make sense of things and help them make informed decisions. So really dig into the cost accounting. Don't rush through this section. Take the time to really understand these calculations, where the numbers are coming from, the order of how things happen, break-even analysis, which I did another in-depth video on that, but really understand these things. Even if you don't work in manufacturing, it will definitely benefit you not only on the exam, but in the long run in terms of your career.
Thank you again for tuning in and rocking with me on another episode of the WERKin Mommas podcast. This podcast is the business plan for entrepreneurs, the how-to and WTF guide for busy moms, and the coattail pulling career advice that professionals need to win in the corporate world. I'm Nikki Winston. I am a mama. I'm a CPA and a career development expert who put all the what ifs aside and launched my podcast. Do you love this content? If so, I would love for you to help create more of it. Support the WERKin Mommas podcast at buymeacoffee.com/Nick Winston CPA. When you go to the site, click on the support button, and from there you can buy as many cups of coffee or tea as you like. And feel free to leave a comment while you're there. Tell me what you like the most about the WERKin Mommas podcast. Head over to buymeacoffee.com/Nick Winston CPA and help create more of the content you love. If you're a CPA candidate, you can join the Winston CPA Exam virtual classroom online at winstoncpagroup.com/CPA Exam. Business owners, get answers to accounting and tax questions and how to form your LLC or corporation at winstoncpagroup.com/business. Are you a professional working in the corporate world? Well, there's career advice and tools that you need to elevate your leadership skills. Click on the career advice page of winstoncpagroup.com or go to winstoncpagroup.com/career advice. And of course, for the busy, overworked moms, there is a place where we understand your struggle. Join the WERKin Mommas community for cleaning hacks, quick meals that are nutritious and kid approved, and all things mom life at thewerkinmommas.com. We also have a Pinterest board that's called Supercharged Self-Care that all the moms love. So check out our mom life tips over on Pinterest.com/theworkinmommas. And of course, if you are not already, you can follow me online on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter at Nick Winston CPA. Connect with the WERKin Mommas online at theworkinmommas.com, as well as on the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn pages. Thank you again. It has been fun, and my podcast is a labor of love for me. So I appreciate every single solitary person who is tuning in, and I look forward to you coming back to rock with me on another episode of the WERKin Mommas podcast.